Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. This time, we're going way back to the world of the Negro Leagues.
Ooh, okay.
And two players you may not have heard of. Wilber, Bullet, Rogan, and Norman Turkey Stearnes.
Now, when you say may not have heard of, that's part of the story, right?
Exactly.
I mean, these guys were incredible.
Yeah.
Some say on par with some of the greats playing in the majors.
Absolutely, and that's why we're doing this deep dive, to shine a light on these incredible players, and we have something extra special today. We're bringing you firsthand accounts from family members who are keeping their legacies alive.
Wow.
So we'll hear from Bullet Rogan's grandson and Turkey Stearnes' daughter.
Oh, I can't wait.
Let's start with Bullet Rogan. I mean,
Yeah.
Bullet.
Yeah.
The nickname alone, what do you think? How do you get a name like that?
You got to be fast
Yeah.
and powerful.
Yeah.
He was a pitcher known for bringing the heat
Mm-hmm.
and a hitter who could really drive the ball.
Okay.
What's remarkable is that he was great at both.
Ah, a two-way player.
Exactly. You know, back then, two-way players weren't that unusual.
Right.
But to be truly great at both, that was something else.
Absolutely. And his grandson, Carl Rogan, shares this great story about sitting on Bullet's lap as a kid and listening to stories about his grandpa striking out batters and hitting home runs in the same game.
Whoa, wait, in the same game?
Yeah.
Wow, talk about versatility.
Incredible, right. Okay, let's get into some of his stats.
All right, so we're talking a lifetime batting average of .338.
Oh, wow.
And get this, although records weren't always, perfect back then,
Right.
Rogan's estimated to have won over 250 games as a pitcher.
250.
It really makes you think.
Yeah.
What if he had played in the majors? How would history remember him?
I know. It's incredible to think about.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about his team, the Kansas City Monarchs, the team he played for and eventually managed.
The Monarchs' powerhouse team of the Negro Leagues.
For sure.
It wasn't just about talent for them. Carl Rogan described the team as a family, a real support system through all those challenges.
Yeah.
Segregation, unequal facilities,
Right.
difficult travel. It's tough to imagine playing under those circumstances.
Absolutely. What's inspiring about the Negro Leagues is just that the resilience,
Yeah.
the camaraderie,
Yeah.
the pure determination to excel no matter the obstacles.
Absolutely.
It's really incredible.
It is.
And it really speaks to the power of community.
Yes, absolutely. Finding strength in each other even when the world outside isn't exactly welcoming. And that brings us to Norman Turkey Stearnes, where Rogan was this multi-talented force. Stearnes was known for his quiet strength and just this intimidating presence at the plate.
And he had the stats to back it up. We're talking about one of the most feared hitters in baseball history.
No exaggeration there.
Right.
He led the league in home runs 6 times. That's a testament to his power and consistency.
But here's the thing that really got to me. His daughter, Joyce Stearnes Thompson, said he never bragged about any of it. She actually learned about most of his accomplishments from other people.
Imagine that being one of the most dominant hitters of your era and never boasting about it. It really says something about his character.
She simply knew him as Dad. It's such a nice detail, but it also makes you wonder about the disappointment he must have felt knowing he had the talent to play at the highest level, but because of the color of his skin, he was denied that opportunity.
Absolutely. It's impossible to ignore the injustice of that era. But it's also important to acknowledge the pride he felt for what he was able to accomplish in the Negro Leagues. He said once, "We played our game, and we played it well."
It's a powerful statement, isn't it? They weren't defined by what they were denied, but by what they achieved, by the excellence they brought to the game day in and day out.
And that's a great point to emphasize. We often hear from historians that players like Rogan and Stearnes were on par with, if not exceeding, the skill level of many Major League players at the time.
It's just mind-boggling to think how different those record books might look if they'd had the same opportunities. What impact might they have had on the game as a whole?
It really raises an important question about how we understand and remember baseball history. For so long, the Negro Leagues were just a footnote, almost an afterthought.
And that's a disservice not just to the players, but to the fans who poured their hearts and souls into this league. They created something truly special, a vibrant, thriving baseball culture in the face of adversity.
It's important to recognize the Negro Leagues as an integral part of baseball history, not just a separate entity. These players were playing with the same passion, the same drive, the same level of talent as their Major League counterparts. They deserve to be remembered alongside them.
And their stories remind us that baseball, like any sport, is a reflection of society. The struggle for equality in baseball is deeply intertwined with the fight for civil rights in America.
Precisely. The integration of Major League Baseball was a watershed moment, but it was a long time coming. We can't forget the pioneers who paved the way, not just Jackie Robinson, but all the players like Rogan and Stearnes, who showcased Black excellence in the face of incredible obstacles.
Their stories are a testament to the human spirit, to the power of perseverance, standing up for what's right, and never letting anyone tell you what you can't achieve.
It's a reminder that talent knows no boundaries, that potential exists everywhere, and it makes you wonder, what if everyone, regardless of their background or circumstance, had the same opportunities? What a different world it would be.
That's a great point. What really fascinates me is how these stories go beyond baseball. It's about recognizing the value of every individual and creating a world where everyone has the chance to contribute, to succeed, to make their mark. And that brings us back to the legacy of the Negro Leagues. How do we honor these players in these stories? And how do we make sure history doesn't repeat itself?
By remembering, by learning, by sharing what we've discovered, by supporting initiatives that promote diversity and inclusion in sports, and by challenging any form of discrimination that limits opportunity.
It's about making sure that every kid who picks up a bat or a glove, or dreams, any dream for that matter, has the chance to shine, regardless of who they are or where they come from.
The Negro Leagues may be a thing of the past, but their impact is still felt today. In the diversity we see on the field, in the way we view the game, in the ongoing fight for equality in every aspect of society.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the lives of Bullet Rogan and Turkey Stearnes, I have a challenge for you. Don't let their stories end here. Go online, look up some highlights, see their skill in action, share what you've learned.
Keeping their memory alive goes beyond baseball. It's about preserving a vital part of American history and making sure its lessons continue to inspire us. Ask yourself, what can we do to create a more equitable and just future where everyone, like Bullet Rogan and Turkey Stearnes, has the chance to achieve their dreams against all odds?
That's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how they supported each other back then.
It's a powerful reminder of the strength of community, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that kind of brings us to Norman Turkey Stearnes.
Okay.
Now, Rogan was this multi-talented guy.
Right.
Stearnes was different, quiet strength,
Okay.
intimidating presence at the plate.
I like it.
Yeah, and the stats to back it up, one of the most feared hitters in history.
Really? Okay, let's hear it.
Led the league in home runs 6 times.
Wow.
Just shows his power and consistency.
That's incredible.
It is. But you know what really gets me about Stearnes?
What's that?
His daughter, Joyce Stearnes Thompson, said he never bragged about any of it.
Oh, wow.
Never. She learned about most of it from other people.
You're kidding?
Nope. Imagine that, one of the greatest hitters and never boasting about it.
That says a lot about his character.
It really does.
I heard he was just dad. It's a beautiful story, but kind of makes you think,
Yeah.
about the quiet disappointment he must have felt.
Oh, yeah. Having that talent, but being denied the opportunity.
Because of the color of his skin? Yeah.
It's hard to ignore the injustice of that time, but it's important to remember the pride he had in the Negro Leagues.
Right.
He said once, "We played our game, and we played it well."
Powerful words, right?
They weren't defined by what they couldn't do,
Yeah.
but by what they achieved.
Exactly. By their excellence, day in and day out.
It's something we hear a lot from historians, actually,
Wow.
that guys like Rogan and Stearnes were on par with, sometimes even better than, Major League players.
It's mind-blowing to think about those record books.
I don't know, right?
What if they'd had the same chances?
What impact could they have had? It really makes you think about how we remember baseball history, right?
Yeah.
For so long, the Negro Leagues were just an afterthought.
It's a disservice to those players and to the fans.
Absolutely. Those fans poured their hearts into it.
They built something special,
A whole culture. Vibrant, thriving, despite everything.
And that's what we need to recognize.
It's vital to see the Negro Leagues as part of baseball history, not something separate.
Not just a side note.
Exactly. They had the same passion, the same drive, the same talent.
They deserve to be remembered alongside those major leaguers.
Absolutely. And their stories remind us that baseball reflects society.
Oh, yeah, for sure. The fight for equality in baseball.
It's tied to the civil rights movement.
It's all connected.
Integration was huge.
What turning point?
But it took a long time. We can't forget those who paved the way.
Not just Jackie Robinson.
Right, but guys like Rogan and Stearnes showcasing Black excellence through it all.
Their stories are powerful, showing the human spirit.
Resilience, standing up for what's right, never giving up.
It's incredible.
It's a reminder that talent is everywhere.
Yeah.
And you wonder, what if everyone had the same opportunities?
What a different world it would be, right?
Absolutely. And that's what fascinates me, you know?
Okay.
These stories go beyond baseball. It's about seeing the value in everyone.
Creating a world where everyone can contribute.
Exactly. Everyone can succeed, everyone can make their mark. And that brings us back to the legacy of the Negro Leagues.
Okay, so how do we honor them? How do we make sure history doesn't repeat itself?
By remembering, by learning,
Mm-hmm.
by sharing what we've discovered,
Yeah.
supporting diversity and inclusion, challenging discrimination.
It's about making sure every kid, no matter who they are, has a chance.
A chance to shine with the bat, a glove, whatever their dream.
Absolutely. The Negro Leagues might be gone, but their impact is still here.
It's in the diversity we see on the field,
Yeah.
how we view the game, the fight for equality everywhere.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Bullet Rogan and Turkey Stearnes,
Yeah.
I have a challenge for you.
Okay.
Don't let their stories end here. Look up some highlights, you know?
See them in action.
Yeah. Share what you've learned.
It's about more than baseball. It's about preserving history,
Right.
making sure those lessons inspire us. And ask yourself,
What can we do to create a better future?
where everyone has a chance to achieve their dreams.
Like Rogan and Stearnes, against all odds. It's a reminder that talent has no boundaries, you know? That potential's everywhere. And it makes you wonder, what if everyone had the same opportunities?
What if everyone, regardless of, background or anything like that, had the same opportunities?
Yeah, what a different world, right?
It really is something to think about. What's so fascinating to me is how these stories, they just go beyond baseball,
Oh, absolutely. It's
Oh.
about the value in everyone.
creating a world where everyone can contribute.
Succeed, make their mark.
Yeah.
It all comes back to the legacy of the Negro Leagues, really.
Okay, so how do we honor these players? How do we honor these stories? How do we make sure that history doesn't repeat itself?
I think it starts with remembering, learning, sharing what we've found,
Sharing what we've learned today, for sure.
supporting diversity and inclusion,
Mm-hmm.
challenging any kind of discrimination that holds people back.
Making sure that any kid, no matter who they are or where they come from, has a chance to shine, whether it's with a bat or a glove or reaching for any dream, really.
The Negro Leagues might be a thing of the past, but their impact is still felt today.
Oh, for sure. It's in the diversity we see in the game, how we view the game, the fight for equality everywhere.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Bullet Rogan and Turkey Stearnes,
Yeah.
I have a challenge for you.
Okay, I'm listening.
Don't let these stories end here. Go online, look up some highlights, see these guys in action.
Share what you learned, too.
Exactly, spread the word. It's about more than baseball, isn't it?
No, it's about preserving history, keeping those lessons alive.
So ask yourself,
What can we do to create a better future? A future where everyone, like Bullet Rogan and Turkey Stearnes, has a chance to achieve their dreams.
against all odds.
Against all odds. That's what it's all about.
That's our deep dive for today. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.